Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to complete my Common Lit assignments. So you know, every other Friday at least, and sometimes days we have nothing else to do, or just feel like it's time to do another Common Lit, we're going to be doing a Common Lit assignment. Now, it's nothing to worry about, but it is very important assignment. And I do understand that it's also very tedious. Not hard, but tedious. When I say tedious, I mean something like I have to go out and mow my lawn today. I do it every week. It's not hard, but it is a tedious chore for me to do. I don't like doing it, but I have to, so I get it done, and I get it done right. I don't just walk out there, do a couple of lines, leave hair, not hair, grass all over the place, little lines and whatnot, like my neighbor next door. I don't spend 20 minutes on it. No. I go out and I spend a good hour. And I mow it twice, different directions, and then I trim it, and then I blow all the grass and whatnot, and then I come back and I make sure that no weeds or anything are left over, right? That's the same thing I'm going to ask you to do with your Common Lit. Not just come in and do it as quickly as possible to get it done, but do your best. And I'm going to tell you now, it's excellent practice for reading comprehension. It's excellent practice for writing essays, small essays, nothing to sweat. It's great practice for standardized tests. If there is ever a PARCC test or an NJSS, whatever, it's great practice for that. Also, it's great practice for your SATs or ACTs for college. So these are great assignments. Now, know this, I count them as a 100-point assignment every time I give it, which is the equivalent of a quiz grade. Let's take a look at one right now. Now, first of all, what I will do every time, the Common Lit will be assigned on your Google Classroom, and on that Google Classroom assignment, I will tell you what the title of the essay or short story is that you'll be reading, and I'll also give you the class code every time. Now, what you'll do is go to commonlit.com, you'll type in the class code, my class will come up, and then you will pick the assignment that we are reading that week. Allow me to show you what it looks like. All right, hold on one second, please. Let's open it up. Okay. So this is what it'll look like when you come in to the assignment, into commonlit.com. You'll see the assignments right here, and this assignment is the complexity of fear. Now, I've opened up the complexity of fear, and this is a good one to talk about first because hold on one second, please. Allow me to put it back up again. This is a good one to show because this is the first one that you're going to be doing, right? So let me get it again, please. Okay. Here we are. Now, this is what an assignment looks like. So you've gone in, you've typed in your code, you've picked the assignment for today, which this first one is the complexity of fear. You're going to look at it. You're going to notice that it's about 5 paragraphs long, which isn't that long. It should take you about 10 minutes to read it. Now, I do want to point out that there are guided reading questions. So what that means is at the end of every paragraph that you read, you're going to find a question. There it is right there. At the end of this paragraph, there's question 1, and there's question 1. And it's not going to let you continue until you answer this question correctly. Don't worry about getting it wrong. I don't grade you on whether or not you do it right or wrong, but I am going to grade it on the fact that you gave your best effort. So pick what you think is the best answer. Once you get it, you go on and you read the next paragraph, and then you answer the question for that paragraph. Then you read the next paragraph and you answer the question. It's at the end of each one, and once you get that correct, they will allow you to continue reading. Okay, when you are done reading, then you answer the questions that they give you at the end of each reading. Now, what's going to happen is they're going to give you 4 or 5 multiple choice questions. Look just like this. What is the purpose? And then you answer, blah, 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 which of the following statements best characterizes. So you will have had to have read this and paid attention. Now, not only are there 4 or 5 multiple choice questions, but there's also 1 essay question for each one. And this is by far the most important question of them all. Now, in this case, in the complexity of fear, the first one we're doing, the essay question is the first question. Most of the time, the essay question is the last question. But regardless of where the question is, you must answer it using the RACE format. So let's take a look at this question. It says, according to Maria C. Lamia, what is fear? Support your answer with evidence. Okay, so we need to do the race format. Let's take a look at the race format, which, by the way, I will always add this race format for the Common Lit onto the assignment itself. So this will always be there for you. So let's take a look. The race format. You're going to restate the question in your own words if possible. If I remember correctly, it said, according to Mary C. Lamia, what is fear? So we're going to write down what does Mary C. Lamia believe fear is? Question mark. That's how I'm going to start my essay. Then I'm going to answer that question. If I remember correctly from reading this, fear is a natural response that you feel in your body when you are afraid or startled. Right? So that's my answer. So I answer that in my sentence or two. Then I'm going to cite a quote, right? So I have to provide a quote from the reading to support my answer, and I must cite it correctly. Now, I always want you to do, and I say it right here, always start each quote with either one of these two sentences. Either consider the following quote, or this is evident in the following quote. So I'm going to say consider the following quote, and then I'm going to pick a quote from this assignment. Now, I'm going to show you real quickly. Let's go to Common Lit real quick. Take a look. Look at this. There it is right there. Fear is in the beginning of the second paragraph. It says, fear is generally considered a reaction to something immediate that threatens your security or safety, such as being startled by someone suddenly jumping out at you from behind a bush. That's the quote I'm going to use to answer this question, because it says, what is fear? And look at this quote. It says, fear is generally considered a reaction to something immediate. So that my answer is right there. So I will restate the question. What does Mary C. Lamia believe fear is? Question mark. Then I'm going to say, Mary C. Lamia believes that fear is a natural reaction to something that happens when you are afraid or startled. Boom. And then I'm going to say, consider the following quote. Then I will put quotation marks and I will quote this directly. Fear is generally considered a reaction to something immediate that threatens your security or safety, such as being startled by someone suddenly jumping out at you from behind a bush. Then I close my quotes. Notice I don't put the period after bush. I put the quotation marks. Then I put a space. Then I put my parentheses. And in the parentheses, I put the title of this essay. So I put the complexity of fear in my parentheses. Then I close my parentheses and I put a period afterwards. And I have one more thing to do. Let's take a look. The next thing I do, remember, so first thing I did was restated the question. Then I answered the question. Then I cited a quote. Notice I gave a quote starter. I said, consider the following quote, or of course I could have said this is evident in the following quote. Then I give my quote. Take a look here. It shows you exactly how to cite it. Again, no period after the end of the last word or between the quotation marks. Instead, I put a space, then my parentheses, then the title of the short story in quotations, or the title of the essay. In this case, it would be the complexity of fear in quotation marks inside those parentheses. And then I would put a period afterwards, but then I'm not done. Then I have to explain my quote. And you always want to start explaining your quote with this quote clearly shows. So I would continue on in this little essay and I would say, this quote clearly shows that fear is a natural reaction that everybody fears, and it is used to help people to stay alive, something like that. And then I'm done. So again, in order to answer the essay question for the Common Lit assignment, you must use the RACE format. So first you restate that question, you answer it a sentence or two, you cite a quote, make sure you are quote starting, you're saying consider the following quote, and then you're explaining that quote and make sure you are starting that by saying this quote clearly shows. Once you are done with that and you are done with all your questions, you are done with the Common Lit for the week. Again, I understand this is a tedious assignment, but it's just too important. Again, I count it as a 100-point assignment. I'm going to say that I'm going to count the essay as 50 points and the multiple choice questions as the other 50 points. Know this, if you do not do this assignment or you do not complete this assignment, I will send an email to your parents or guardians each and every time explaining that you are taking a 0 or a bad grade on assignment that you have plenty of time to get done. Also that it's a really important assignment, both towards your grades, but also towards your education in my class, as far as becoming a more mature writer and moving forward in English class. So this assignment must be done. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask me. But again, you can go back and rewatch this entire thing. So I will say it one more time. So when we are doing the Common Lit, let me go back to where we were. Let me present my Chrome tab. When we are doing the Common Lit, you are going to come into the assignment. This is what the assignment looks like. It's either a short story or an essay. You are going to read through it. You're going to answer the guided reading questions. When it is done, then you have to do your assessment questions. The assessment questions are always one paragraph essay that you are going to answer using the RACE format, and the other ones are just answering some multiple choice questions. Again, your RACE format for the Common Lit is very simple. You are going to restate the question in your own words. You are going to answer that question in a sentence or two. You are going to cite a quote. Make sure you give a quote starter. Consider the following quote, or this is evident in the following quote. You are going to cite it correctly. Of course, you're going to put the title of the source into parentheses at the end of the quote and put the period at the end of the parentheses. And then, of course, you're going to explain that quote. And, of course, you're going to start that explanation with "this quote clearly shows." Fabulous job, everybody. Good luck. If you have any questions or problems, you please bother me. You ask me. I will happily help you, and I will go through this with you one more time. Thank you.